Welcome back, viewers. Vinny here again for another gardening video. You may remember this hydroponic garden from last year. Well, here it is reassembled in front of you. In this video, we're going to talk about what happened from then until now, along with how easy this thing can be disassembled and transported. Plus, we're going to take a quick look at what the plans are for the garden this coming spring. So stay tuned.
greensandmachines.com.
Now, if you've been following our YouTube channel or website blog back at the end of 2018, you may remember me showing off some of this garden. If you haven't, then welcome to Greens and Machines, and I'll give you the cliff notes. This is a hydroponic garden which has the capacity to grow 72 vegetable or herb crops in about 8 square feet. That's a lot of produce. It operates by principle of the NFT method, or nutrient film technique. This is where plant roots gather water and nutrients through a thin film of nutrient solution at the bottom of a channel. If you want to know more about the nutrient blend I use, I'll link in the description below. So why did I build it? In my previous video, Starting Seeds for the Unlimited Basil Factory, I gave a better explanation as to my logic as to why. But the too long didn't watch version of that is I wanted to grow more vegetables in the pitifully small front yard that I had in the condo I was living in. So I built the garden to accommodate my ambitions. And that same video where I started seeds to bring the system back online for the spring of 2019 happened to be the last time you probably saw it. I ended up moving out of that condo into the house I'm living in now, and the whole series of events really brought into question what I planned to do with the garden. Initially, I wanted to sell the garden. It wouldn't hurt to have some money out of it, even if I took a loss. I did write up plans on how to build more of these systems if I needed more in the future, so I will always have those no matter where this garden ended up. But unfortunately, when I listed it on Craig's classified ads, my listing was instantly shadow banned. I guess some keywords in that listing triggered some red flags for what this garden could potentially grow, if you catch my drift. And that made it really difficult for me to get rid of it. So instead of selling the garden, I employed one of the system's greatest abilities to move it to my new residence. Modularity. The way I had designed each of the grow channels and frame allows me to easily break it down for movement and storage. For starters, I broke down the system and moved it out of the front yard of the condo. You can see how easily the growth channels simply lift right out of the frame from the other linked channels. A marvelous design. I could fit all the grow channels and frame subsections into the back seat of my car. Isn't that awesome? With the garden relocated to my new place, there was a bit of adjustment I had to do when moving it. I didn't really have a good place to set up this garden because it had been late in the season, so I set up the container garden I blogged about last year instead. Now I planned to get this hydroponic garden restarted at some point, but my landlord had a bit of landscaping to do, which interrupted my plans. With my landlord landscaping, there was no real opportunity to set up the garden around the yard. So instead of reactivating it, I was able to store the growth channels and frame pieces in the yard until the time would come to bring the garden back. And now that the landscaping is done and the weather has gotten a lot better, it has come time to reassemble and reactivate the garden. This series, Growing with the Hydroponic Garden, will continue into this year. I promise this time. I'll go more into the inner workings of the design along with what vegetables I am growing or attempting to grow. There's more than meets the eye with this stack of PVC pipes. So be sure to subscribe to the Greens and Machines YouTube channel for more updates on this garden. Follow the Greens and Machines Instagram account for more frequent updates at Greens and Machines. We'll see you in the next video.